Welcome back, friends. Yep, some injuries. The birds were the first hint, cycling and turning over a distant calamity. You figured whatever you saw was still alive, but by the time you got to it, the flock had landed and you stumbled across a dead man leaning up against a side post. Try and scare the birds away. The black buzzards only hop a few steps in the opposite direction, where they then turn to stare at you. The corpse is fresh, the means to its death a slow one. A few arrows stick out of its side. A rope on his hip suggests he had a purse there. Someone robbed him twice. Lucky. Whoa, that's a big group. Some marksmen, lots of riders, and a leader. These are the kind of groups I need to start grinding through, and then I'm hoping I can grind through once I get my war bows. I mean, it's technical. I could technically take them on now, but it is risky with these low-level guys who only have basic mail up front. You know, this is one of those typical fights that I believe I can win, but I think I can't win it without unacceptable losses. Once we have those war bows, we can start killing the enemy marksmen in one or even two or even one hits. Then that kind of fight gets a lot easier. Man, it's tempting. I think I should probably start picking up male hauberks for the front line. Leather scale armor 150 minus 18. I think what's really made me decide this is that like someone like Mizuma who's got huge fatigue. And we just got so much money. I think it would be silly to not buy that. Yeah, what is this? Siege. Too hard for us, sorry. Hunt down the unholds. Nope. We don't have the armor, weapons, or skills yet to take on unholds reliably. Go away, brigands. I don't want to fight you. You're too many of you. Be like half a dozen marksmen, and that's really scary. Okay, good. Off they go. Ah, second Tunvela Company. Thank you, men. I must say I like the military presence of the northern houses. Lord. Brigand Central over here. Actually pretty encouraging because we are so close to getting to be able to actually farm these guys. So is this defend from raiding parties, greenskins, too difficult? I don't know if now I'm becoming too cautious, but if there's one thing that's marked this campaign above others is that it's gone well for a long period of time, and then short, sharp bursts of bad decision making have gotten us damn near wiped out. Follow the tracks, return Tomaveka knowledge. Well, that we can do. Need that money as well. I should actually be aware that when it's a Tome of Arcane Knowledge, there's a chance it could be a Necromancer. Few marksmen. Please don't let it be a Necromancer. Honestly, if it's a Necromancer, I might just turn it down. Okay, good. Because if we had to push forward in the swamp and try to get a bead on a Necromancer, that could become disastrous pretty quickly. You can't get an angle on the Necromancer. You can just create zombies and buff them almost endlessly. Ow! Stay there, stay exposed, you bastard. Oh, lucky. If they're not going to move forward, then we're going to charge forward and take this solid ground here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Seriously? It appears that Alvarin has the lowest ranged defense of all the frontline lads, so he just keeps getting picked on by these marksmen. I need to actually leave that space open so that I can get him back. He needs to come off the front line and quick. Yeah, 111 hit points. Yeah, no, he needs to move back. I'd rather get Kremenko in there. God, I hate fighting in swamps. If it's against enemies that don't have ranged weapons, it's not so bad. Then like this would be a lot easier if I was forcing them to stumble forward into this muck. But when the enemy has the ranged units of their own, it gets quite tricky like this. Our archers should be able to take out these crossbowmen, even though they're behind the lines there. 39, 29, 46, 57. There'll be single-digit chances to hit now because of your 5% chance to hit. The tight shields on the front line. What was that chance? 32% chance. That's actually pretty high. Nice. Well, our front lines are probably going to be exhausted by the time these guys hit them on the front, but that's fine. They're going to be fighting at a huge disadvantage. And now they're going to walk into my ninjas as well. As soon as I saw this was a fight in the swamp, I knew it was going to be a bummer. They always are. 44, 26, 58. And now the extra damage from Killing Frenzy. Mail shirt for 51 armor damage and body for 8. That's damn good. I think I need to be more careful with those thrown axes as well. I've only got 5 of them. When I'm throwing it at a target that doesn't have any armor, I mustn't be using an axe. I should use the javelin. Great hit. They look exactly like right there. I should have been using a javelin. Hits. Well done, lads. Hold your formation. I don't want to go to the two-handed sword just because of these crossbowmen are still dangerous. Oh, scary. At least that one's exposed now. He should be fairly easy to take out. Unless they move someone in front of him, which I hope they don't do. Like that, damn it. Clever bastards. Great hit. Oh, and then Darion with the double kill. Have any axes left? I do not. For 86 accuracy, that's what I'm talking about. Oh, Bashi! Holy shit! And those are 2 head hits as well. Nasal helmet hit for 47 damage. Nasal helmet hit. That's ruined his helmet. 2 Killing Frenzy, javelin to the face. Now we can run at them. It is hell fighting in these swamps. Unlucky, 65% miss. Five attack points. Is that enough for a great sword swing? I don't think it is. Too risky. Nice. We've taken a lot of damage in this fight, but it was always going to be hard. Fighting marksmen during the daytime in a swamp. Ugh. I gotta say, the ninjas have been amazing this fight. Ooh, well done, lads. And Darion, of course, doing his thing. Actually, that was a waste. I threw a javelin there. That was 4 ammunition. For no reason. Oh, you lucky bugger. Lads, get him. Fuck. Off with his head, that's better. Yes. I mean, with all the damage we took there, we're hardly going to make profit off of this. Nope. We will not piss off Hemmelmark. Hemmelmark is one of the most important cities to us with the amount of money we make from them. Crown's well deserved. Back to your round shields, boys. What's this? Delivery down south, please. To Tannenweiler, about an day east. Do I need to go to Tannenweiler? No, we just come from there. Operation Get a Fucking Warbow already. Big group, I hope that's a friendly army. I don't want that to be a big old group of brigands. That's disconcerting how all the footprints just stop. Yes, it must have been an army group that took out a bunch of greenskins. Okay, missing persons. So let's see what's the price. 6,000. Hopefully, if we get rid of this people missing, then we shouldn't be having to pay too much of a ridiculous price. Bit of a cargo. This should be hunt down with terrorizers. Return the idol if it's... So what? Okay. Can't be too blasé about that mission. That's a 3 skull. Man, always so tempting to hire hunters, but I've got the 2 archers that I want, and I've got my 2 ninjas, so I don't particularly have to get one. What we do need to keep our eyes peeled for is a bowyer. At some point I want to see if I can't get my hands on a masterwork bow, but it gets super frustrating because in my offline campaign it's 350 days and I've had a bowyer in there for over, yeah, for most of it, for like 300 of those days. And still nothing, still no masterwork bow. Oh, by the way, I read in the recent patch notes that they made a small tweak to the rates at which tools drop. That's good to know. Tools should be more easily and freely available. Take a look at the range numbers on the front line. 26 is the lowest there, 28, 26 on Adpaling. Really don't want to fight these guys in a forest, especially. They're good. If there was a necromancer with them there, I would have legit thought about that again. If you thought fighting a necromancer in a swamp was difficult, oh my word, in a forest it can be fucking impossible. Because you can't even see the bastard half the time, let alone get a bead on him. I think let's fall back and make them come to us. The marksmen will probably hide behind these bushes, but I don't want to bottleneck them. It's going to make us... It'll take longer to kill all these raiders. I was going to say if they even come towards us, but thankfully they are. 23%, that's really high. Ugh, Adpaling. Oh, Bobbins. 30%. These are all really high to hit chances. But considering I have 50% chance to hit, I should maybe just stay there and keep shooting. I mean, hell, if they're going to keep coming, let's just stand and fight, Elendarion! Headshot. Now, these nerds not going to keep coming forward. What is going on here? Hold the line, men. So we know there's at least 2. There's maybe more marksmen. Killing that one's going to be very hard, though. We're going to have to push forward now, unfortunately. I don't see him coming forward, and even if he does, if we move back 1 square, I'll probably stand about there with this guy still in front of him. It's not going to help us. Lord Bobbins. They really don't like Bobbins. We'll move Kremenko forward and back him up with Leothan and probably Elendarion there. I want to flank. I might want to try a flanking maneuver, but it's just going to be so congested trying to get through that single little square there. God, forests are a bummer. But like so many of the engagements, once we have superior archers with warbows, then all of these bandit fights just become so much easier. Oh, shite. That's not what I wanted to see at all. It's going to take me at least 3 or 4 turns to close in on that guy. Gives him a lot of time to shoot at me with a tier 2 crossbow. Very scary. Never fails when it's a tier 2 crossbow. Almost always seems to hit. Fuck you! Die! I hate this fight. I need to change my plans now. I need to get Padden there to maybe swap out Mizuma. That's not great in the long term because Padden won't be able to stand on the front line, and he doesn't have rotation yet. Only Leothan has rotation. I was hoping to be able to sneak Adparling through into that position, but now I can't. %17%. It's been impossible to hit these guys. I can't get a clear shot at him. I'm very worried about Mizuma here. This is so bad for Mizuma. 1, 2, 3, and then rotate out. I can move forward, get a shot off. And on the next turn, Mizuma moves there, and then the following turn rotates out and rotates out. So Mizuma's got to survive 2 more turns. It doesn't look good. Oh yeah, rip Mizuma. Fucking hate marksman so much. Oh, headshot, lucky. Man, as an episode, it's been such a bummer. We've been fighting in such horrendous conditions. First a dreadful swamp fight, and now 2 terrible fucking forest fights. Also, oh no. He's going to be closed in on a melee range in the next turn or two, but luckily he's got footwork. Oh, come on! King forests. That's what I'm fucking talking about. Just hope Mazuma doesn't get killed. Let's hope he gets struck down and it's brain damage. Any one of these hits now could be the last for him. Scary. Oof, ouch. That was killed, I think. Like, motherfucker, die! Crazy what a big part terrain plays in these fights. God. God damn it, I hate fighting in forests. %, that's really high for a crossbowman to be shooting. Of course that's going to fail, he's got nowhere to go. Ah! What am I doing? Yes, get wrecked. Finally! Put some damage onto these fucking marksmen. Ah! Now the bane of my existence. For fuck's sake, Tobit! 74%. It's doubly irritating because it's a fight that we should have been able to win quite handily. But again, if we fought them out on open plains, it would have been a lot easier. Oh, Van Thorn, you fucking legend. See, as soon as you don't have the fucking terrain working against you, actually land your shots. Fuck you. Oh, for God's sake! Well done, Van Thorn. Die! This little dude has been a pain in my ass this whole fight, good lord. These raiders have pretty high melee defense, it seems. And that little dude to the south there just has a little round shield, but good lord, he's been hard to hit. And even though we've surrounded him 2-1, he doesn't seem to really give a shit. So, look, I mean, for 44%, they're fine he's got a shield wall up, but I mean, good lord. Oh, so close to getting him killed. Dambashi. Oh, come on! Everyone's miles away and it takes fucking age to get anywhere. God damn it, I hate fighting in forests. Ugh! Fucking hell, Mazuma. Damn it. Oh, piss off. Like... God, this campaign is cursed. Look at this shit. Still 5,800. This pisses me off when there's disappearing villages and there's no mission to be able to remove that disappearing villages debuff. Deliver to Grunwasser. That might not be too bad. I might actually want to head out that way anyways. We are so close to getting our warbows, and then we can... We're bottlenecking so badly on these warbows because... stopping me from buying armor. But one thing to bear in mind is that even if, let's say, I bought, scale mail armor for 240, armor points or something, I don't really have anyone who can wear it with any sort of fatigue on the front line, and even if they did, they don't have the melee skill. My most accurate brothers are my bowmen. Of course, my two guys on the flank, but they already have decent armor. I know it's tempting a lot of times to go for the armor as soon as you can, but you've got to bear in mind who you're putting it on. It's got to be someone who's actually worth giving it to. If they have crap melee skill or crap fatigue, they're not going to do anything with that armor. I feel like I want to keep my eyes peeled for a cultist. Nope. What's this? Camp of Greenskins, too hard. The only greenskin missions I feel remotely comfortable doing are the Fletcher, Steinhausen, or marauding greenskin missions. This has been such a strange campaign. I've never had a campaign like this where we flush for money, but I just keep on suffering losses. Although in retrospect, in that previous fight, my first instinct was probably the right one, to just stay back and let the enemy come towards us. I mean, moving towards those archers, as we saw, was disastrous. Oh, yes. Oh, we've done it! Praise Orange Jesus! Rejoice, brothers! That is so big. It's impossible for me to stress how big this is. Turning point in the campaign. Okay, what day is it? What's the date? It is day 149. And would you believe it? The Greenskin invasion ends immediately. As soon as we get our warbows, they're like, nope, fuck this. Greenskin invasion over. You come across a handful of soldiers from House Winterhall. They tilt their caps at you. Evening, mercenaries. Not sure if they're about to attack. You make a subtle nod toward Pattern Fane. He puts his weapon within hand's reach and nods back. You return your attention to the soldiers, giving them a friendly wave. Their lieutenant steps forward, grinning. Oi, mercenary, we've little use for you in this world now. Slowly, you lower your hand. Hovering it above the pommel of your sword, you ask what the man means by that. He laughs. Haven't you heard? The war's over. The Greenskins were routed from Hellshovel just a few days ago. Scouts report seeing them bastards running for the hills every which way, fighting amongst themselves. Orcs killing the goblins, goblins killing the orcs. Just a full-on rout. So, yeah. Noble houses need not pay your sorry ass for nothing now because us real soldiers got under control. Now why don't you and your pathetic lot clear out of our way? Us fighters got places to be, understand? Let's move to let these heroes of the realm pass. Pattern Fane reaches for his weapon, but you shake your head. The lieutenant nods towards the mercenary. Best keep that dog on its leash, eh? You fan your arm out, inviting the soldiers a passage they knew they already had. The soldiers gear up, and the lieutenant smirks. I knew you'd make the right choice. We're just having a bit of fun, yeah? You ladies stay tight. The man blows a kiss as he walks by. Pattern Fane stands up looking like someone just socked his mother. You tell him to sit back down, and he begrudgingly does so. It's all bullshit, these theatrics, but you're not the one to lose your temper and get people killed over it. The incident does make you wonder if maybe it's time to turn it all in. The Greenskins are beaten back, and you've made enough money to leave the life for good. But then again, you'd hate to live out the rest of your days wondering, what if? The drowned men need their commander. You can frickin' say that again. Oh, my word. I cannot tell you how pumped I am to finally get these friggin' warbows. Even if only so that you guys don't have to listen to me continually crapping on about warbows all the time. Okay, wait. How many round shields? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And now, in terms of what I want to buy, I think if we look at our Hammer Raider on the flank here, Tobit, with his 75 plus 7, 80 odd accuracy, it might be time to go Hammer Mastery, considering he's only 500 and something XP points away, and we buy him a Warhammer. And he can start wrecking house with his Warhammer. Just want to see what this is. Greenskins are killing their cow. A camp of Greenskins, no thanks. I want to head back up to the north. Hunt down unholds. It's only 1 gold, but let's not get silly. 1 skull, I mean, not 1 gold. We need to get back up north, where the real money is. This was a task like none undertaken by the men of the company before. To fend off an entire invasion by some of the fiercest foes man has ever faced. A foe that could not be reasoned with, whose alien mind knows not mercy or compassion, but only war. Orcs and goblins had united in a savage green tide that threatened to wash away the race of man. Under a pitiless sun at day and by the light of burning towns at night, the company campaigned against the green menace across the borderlands, rooting it out wherever it raised its ugly, scarred head. In brackets it should say, and where the missions weren't unreasonably dangerous. The men faced many a hard battle, and made many a sacrifice, but it was all worth it. The drowned men prevailed. After many a savage struggle, after uncounted days where each man's life seemed to hang on the roll of a die, the green tide finally seemed to ebb. As orcs and goblins scatter back into the wild, you know that the world of man is saved, for now. So, It also means we can start fishing for replacement recruits. One big old group of zombies, that'll be just the thing that we need. Few geists though. We're not getting paid to kill them, so maybe a few, it's like 2 or 3 geists. You see, if Pat and Fane had rally the troops, then I might think about that, but because we only have one person with rally the troops, taking on multiple ghosts is too dangerous. Even if it's 2 ghosts, you would just need them to put one on one side of the battlefield, another on the other, and you wouldn't be able to rally at least 1/2 of your fighting force. So, we're going to keep hitting the northern loop, keep the money flowing, and then the majority of the money we're going to put into a 2-handed Warhammer, and then I want to get all of the best armor that I can on the front line. Ideally, we've got 2 sets of decent armor. This is the minimum decent, I would say. We need 7, so we need 5 more sets of, at a minimum, reinforced mail Hauberk. But hopefully now that we've got these warbows, we can start more confidently taking on raiders with bandit leaders. Maybe what I do as an interim measure is I'll buy up more Hauberks, which we put on the front line. And once we have the reinforced Hauberks or scale mail or lamellar harnesses, the mail Hauberks will start going to the back line. Although I really only need 2 mail Hauberks, 1 for each of my sergeant and bannerman, because my archers and my ninjas are going to take nimble. And then with a Saleh helmet and noble armor, you can get 50% damage reduction, and I think it's 150 and 120 armor respectively. So yeah, Saleh helmets and noble armor are the other bits of armor on the shopping list for us. Let's see, in terms of who I'd like to hire, class-wise, I do love me a squire. Squires are fantastic. The fact that he's tiny is pretty terrible, though. I do like the defense, but the minus damage is an issue. They have high resolve and high melee skill. He's only 800 gold. What do you think? Should we give him a try? Let's give him a try. Oh, that's nice. Melee skill, that's very nice. Range defense is pretty good. I'm going to look at the damage numbers of the 2-handed weapons, because I kind of feel like tiny sucks, but you can offset it by using a 2-handed weapon. You can still do respectable damage, even if it's minus 15% of a great sword. I mean, he's got good resolve. His fatigue is a little bit of a concern, and with only 59 hit points and no stars, he's going to have to take Colossus. One of you in the comments made the point that taking Steelbrow is not worth it when you have guys on the front line with the super high armor value helmets. Like if you're wearing a, what's it called again, a full face helmet with 300 armor, the argument is then you don't need Steelbrow. But my liking of Steelbrow is that over the 1,000 odd hours I've played, I've become so traumatized of getting one shot by crossbows to the face, especially because we haven't yet gone through the Civil War late game crisis, and in those type of fights you're going to be facing enemy arbalesters that have tier 3 crossbows. And even if I get them up to, let's say, 80 hit points, and even with 300 head armor, an enemy arbalester with crossbow specialization will do an additional 70% of damage ignoring armor, so it would be 70% of 40 to 60 from the crossbow. So if that rolls max, that's 70% of 60 damage. Let's call it 50 something. If it hits the head, that's increased by 50%, so that's 75 hit points straight to the head. Which is why Steelbrow I think is so important. The other option is if I get the hit points up to 100, but then I've got to spend who knows how many levels leveling up hit points. It's also for me why 75 hit points is pretty much the magic number when it comes to where my guys want to be. I mean, I prefer to get it to 80 and higher within reason, but 75, I'm pretty sure, is about as high as a tier 3 crossbow can hit you on the head. So really, Steel Brow, to my mind, it's an insurance policy is really what it is. I can't tell you how disappointing it is, and it's happened to me before, where you have a brother who's been with you for like 300 days, he's level 15, he's a badass in every which way, except he doesn't have Steel Brow, and a single crossbow bolt through the helmet kills him. And it can be like a 5% chance to hit, which is super low, but over the length of a campaign and over enough battles, eventually your luck will run out and you'll get hit by one of those, just by law of averages. So Arnulf is certainly going to be a raider of some sort. I just don't know whether to make him sword, hammer, or axe. I'm pretty sure I've got 2 hammer raiders already here. Renka's a Zweihunter, so he'll be on the center of the formation. I have a funny feeling I might put hammer raiders on the outside flanks, because we've got 7 positions up front. I might do 4 hammers, or 2 hammers, 4 swords, and 1 mace. Because 4 great swords in the front line is going to give us a lot of versatility in terms of splitting through the enemy ranks. It isn't as sexy as having the great axes, and as fun as the great axes are. In my offline campaign, I've got one guy who's a pretty much a badass with the great axe. I can actually load it up and show you. But you really only get to feel the top end in terms of what the great axe can do in like zombie fights when you're surrounded by zombies. The thing is, like, pretty much no matter how much of a badass your great axe raider might be, if he's surrounded by, let's say, raiders or enemy soldiers or orc warriors or something, he's in too much danger to reliably be able to use his axe swing anyway. And against those most dangerous enemies, I would prefer a hammer, because those most dangerous enemies tend to be so heavily armored. So of the 7 points up front, let's say 2 hammers, 3 great swords, and 2 two-handed maces, I think is a nice middle ground between damage and crowd control. So he could be a decent mace specialist candidate. Then the slightly less damage is less of an issue. Okay, that actually makes good sense. I like that logic. But Myra, I'm sorry mate, but your life as a reserve is just going to continue. But don't worry mate, I'm sure you'll see some action at some point. Okay, I'm going to end the episode there. We've done very good job, very good work. We done very good job. I speak good. Done a lot. We've finally gotten over the warbow hump, and we can really focus on grinding out the cash and upping our weapons and our armor. The big decision is whether we get Tobit his warhammer or we focus on armor. I think we focus on the armor because the warhammer is most vital against the high-level undead and orc warriors, which we are not going to be fighting. Predominantly now, we're going to be farming raiders with our 2 warbow users. So we've got 80 accuracy there, 70. 70 at level 6 is actually phenomenal. This guy's going to hit 100. Yeah. And focusing on armor is doubly good for us because in the northern houses here, there's like 3 armorers all over the place. Right, okay. Wow, what an episode. Good lord. I mean, before we got those warbows and before the war ended, that's as angry as I've been for a while playing Battle Brothers. And I was like, maybe I must just stop playing because when I'm in that frame of mind, I just make more stupid mistakes. But then it went from worst of times to best of times with the 2 warbows and the end of the war. Okay, friends, On balance, crazy episode. Thanks for watching. The Greenskin invasion is over. We should be in for a few good months now. We've probably got 3 months, maybe less. But I'm thinking, if you imagine our power on a graph, we've been stagnating and dipping for a while, but now we're really going to shoot up if all goes well. Thanks for watching, friends. I'm Stoke149. These are the Drowned Men. We finally have our warbows. Yes, please.